Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. For the last several years, I have done a Christmas card series with a Michaels paper pack, and so this year is no exception. Usually I call it my budget Christmas card video. This year I am using, again, a Michaels paper pack. This time I'm using a 6x6 called Holiday Romance, and I am using these stickers that go with that as well. So when I went to Michaels, these were, I believe, 30% off. And I chose a 6x6 paper pad because it's double-sided. I don't know if the 12x12s have never been double-sided, or maybe I just don't remember, but the 12x12s I was looking at weren't double-sided, and I feel like Michaels kind of regurgitates kind of the same paper every year, meaning that it's kind of the same patterns, but they're just switched up a little bit. And so I've already done several of the other paper pads, and this is one that I hadn't done, and so that is part of the reason I chose this. Part of the reason is because these are kind of some non-traditional Christmas colors, and so when I first started working with this, I wasn't so sure that I was liking it, but then as I got to using a little bit more of the paper, I ended up really liking the patterns. So along with that is a coordinating sticker pack. It's sold separately. There are 2 of each of these sticker designs, and these are like super convenient because a lot of them already have a sentiment on them, but you'll notice as I go through the video that there are cards that I don't have sentiments on, so I will either later on put a sentiment on if I feel like, or I will put one on the inside of the card. So I thought I'd try something different this year and use one sketch for all of my cards. I end up making 11 cards total, 10 of them using the sketch, and so I'm just going to have that laid off to the side while I am putting my cards together. So I do keep the paper sizes the same pretty much. I move the papers around a little bit on each of the cards just to give it a little bit of somewhat of a difference, but usually I go ahead when I'm doing these videos is I look through Pinterest for different card layouts and card sketches, and then usually what happens during the process is I change them up a little bit just to make them my own. But this year I thought I'd go ahead and give myself a little bit of a challenge and try and see what I could do with one kind of basic card sketch. So you can see off to the side that sketch is sitting there. The circle piece is going to be, for these cards, all of them are going to be using those stickers, so that's going to be kind of the focal point, I guess you could say. But basically, some of them are matted, some are not. I try not to pop up too many of these stickers just because for mailing it's a lot easier to not have too much bulk on the cards. So as you saw, that was the first one out of the way. These are super quick. I might end up playing a little bit of music during the video because it's basically the same. I'm just doing, like I said, the sketches a little bit differently. At this point, I'm not adding a lot of embellishments or stickles or things like that, but I might end up changing that later on before I get them mailed out. So the sketch on the side, I have one strip on the bottom, which is 1.5 by 4.25, and that is a strip going horizontal, and then the 2 vertical strips are matted. The matte piece is 1.5 by 3.75, and then that smaller piece that fits in the mat is 1.25 by I think 3.5. My circle is covering it, so I can't see, and then the circle is 2.5. Of course, I don't really stick with that size or the circle at all, but I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of Christmas music as you watch the process of the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below, but I hope this gives you some ideas of some different ways to not only use this paper pad, but maybe some others that you have in your stash that you could maybe take a card layout and just try some different things with it. But here you go, and I'll see you back here in a bit. love playing the Christmas music with the video. I think it's kind of gets me in the Christmassy mood. But that last card you saw where it had all the different little squares, those were just leftover scraps from the paper. So the paper pad, I think it has two of each pattern. I used half of the paper pad and I made 10 cards out of that, and I have a bunch of little pieces left over, and that last card was some of those leftover pieces used on a card. But that is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed. I'm planning on having a few more different styles of Christmas cards, so I hope you'll come back and join me for those. As always, if you like this video or found it informative, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. And thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.